Let's leave the Kardashians alone and get into MTN. It's one of the world's largest mobile phone companies with large businesses in Nigeria. Now that's going to be the hot talking point for us: South Africa, Ghana, and Iran.
It has over 230 million customers, which is massive. It has a market cap of 240 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 17.9, and a dividend yield of 8.3%. But we have had earnings quite recently, and I think, you know, there's a big loss that's been pushed through on those earnings. So, you know, it's going to be hard to value that business. You're going to have to look onto the next year once that loss is filtered through.
Firstly, Clive, have you been exposed to MTN?
Heavily. And I'm glad we went in early. So even when the turmoil came, we were able to weather the storm, as it were. But he has a nice, interesting South African company, which I feel that South Africans don't support as much as they should, because we shouldn't have, in actual fact, Vodacom ahead of, in terms of clientele. We should be supporting this particular child very well. But in any case,
are you objecting to the Vodafone shareholding in Vodacom? Is that why you're saying,
that's what I'm saying.
You know, celebrate homegrown?
Absolutely.
Proudly South African.
Proudly South African brand. But they do have some little, what do they call them, skeletoniana things in the back.
Skeletoniana. All right, that's a new term for us. Let's have a look at what the skeletoniana have done to the share price, obliterated it effectively.
The market obviously hasn't liked the skeletoniana coming through. But I think this is a good opportunity. It's not really the easiest sell as it used to be. You know, MTN was a no-brainer. The territories they operate in are very difficult. You know, lots of regulatory pressures. Like I mentioned, if data is the new oil, we're going to see governments, you know, always wanting to get their fingers in that pie. So it is difficult. You know, Iran, Nigeria, South Africa, those are the big three for MTN.
Are those monies released now from Iran?
They did manage to bring a whole lot back.
It's about 10 billion?
So
just about?
Do you want to continue
Close to
with
$1
that?
billion. Because that was a big issue. You know, Iran had the sanctions; those did get lifted, so they are able to bring
new CEO as well. So I mean, it's exciting.
That's also, we need to talk about those management changes. As I said to Byron, the likes of Rob Shooter going into the fold. We've also got Stephen van Coller leaving Absa Capital and going into head up, I think it's mergers and acquisitions within that MTN stable. But you know, none of those talents have actually hit the company yet.
No.
This is going to be a long-term strategy. Do you back it at current levels? What is your level of conviction?
I do back it, and you know, anything at this stage for MTN 145, 150, you stand a good chance of seeing it go further up. And I trust the new team. I think there's a strategic reason why they're there. We know as well that
why they will be going there, rather.
Why they will be going there. And also a mate of mine just taking over the international correspondence, Chris Maroling. I'm sure you famously know him for "Don't Touch Me on My Studio."
I've watched that many times. This is my favorite.
so it looks like they've got a plan, and hopefully this time they don't take as long. And they've been able to resolve the Nigerian saga, haven't they? So even though it's going to come at it's not a slap on the wrist, is it?
It's going to come at a hefty price, and I don't think they're going to be repeating or transgressing any Nigerian laws down the line.
Well, you know, there's never a no-brainer in the market. You know, we could say here, you know, now's the time to get in, or you wait for things to start improve. You know, Rob and Stephen starting to bring in some acquisitions in a few years' time. But if that happens, you know, the share price would have already reflected that. You know, I think now's the good time to come in and then just wait and be patient. And those two guys have big banking experience. It's not just going to be mergers and acquisitions. You know, there's a lot of talk about them getting MTN involved as a financial services provider because they just have so many subscribers.
Well, that was the speculation. Was MTN going to put out a bid for Barclays assets? Well, rather the Absa assets that Barclays is selling. It all gets rather complicated.
A big multi-billion-dollar fine to deal with in Nigeria.
It slightly impacted their capital or their cash reserves. Hot or not on MTN?
Hot.
Can you beat that?
No, I can't. I'm also red hot on MTN.
We need say no more.